Well, for some of you, you're starting to get really excited or nervous, depending upon your perspective, as we've got 5 weeks of the NFL regular season left. Others of you are like me, you're like, I'm over this shit already. Let's get on to the off season. Bears football! And if you don't get it, here, what else is there to get? Bears football! Playing meaningless football in December. Bears football! So anyways, I am here to give you my Week 14 NFL picks. And taking a look back at Week 13, that was a dose of the right medicine. It had been Week 12 got a little better. Weeks 10 and 11 were really bad. Week 13, that's more like it. 11-3 picking the winners straight up. 10-4 against the spread. So that is more like it. That's the type of stuff I like to be able to do week in and week out. And for the season now, I'm 120-74, picking the winner straight up, 106-88 against the spread. Again, not the best of seasons by any stretch of the imagination, but what the hell, doing this for fun, and why not? So anyways, let's move on to the picks for Week 14. The Thursday night matchup, I picked Minnesota minus the 3.5, and when they got out to that big, 29-0 lead or whatever the hell it was, I said, oh yeah, Pittsburgh's got them right where they want them. Because that means Minnesota's actually got to close this game out and hold on. And they barely did that. Holy Christ. The hell was Chase Claypool thinking? I don't know. But nonetheless, Vikings did win and they covered, so all is good there. So I start out the week 1-0. Let's see how the rest of the week goes. I will tell you for full transparency, I feel like I picked a lot of upsets this week. So I'm either going to look like a genius or like a complete and total moron. Starting off with the early Sunday matchup, speaking of upsets, you've got the Ravens traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The Browns are 2.5-point favorites here. The Ravens haven't exactly lit the world on fire, but neither have the Browns. In the first matchup, the Ravens one was at 16-10, but that was an ugly performance for both teams, in particular both teams' offenses. Coming into this one, I like the Ravens just a little bit more. Give me Baltimore plus the 2.5 to win. You got Jacksonville traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Have we gotten to the point now where the Urban Meyer watch has started? Meaning, how many more games is he actually going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars coach? Are we at 5 and counting? 4 and counting? 3 at counting? Really, really weird. And you're hearing a lot of reports talking about how people are tired of his shtick already. Yeah, I could see that. Tennessee, minus the 8.5. Yeah, I'll take them all day long. The Jags are just terrible. You got the Raiders traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs in a big game for both teams in the AFC West. The Chiefs, arguably their best performance of the season was the first time they faced the Raiders on Sunday night a few weeks ago when they blew the doors off them. What was it, like 41-14, some crazy shit like that. But over the past couple of seasons, the Raiders had played the Chiefs relatively tough. The Chiefs are favored by 9.5 in this matchup. I like the Chiefs to win here, but that 9.5 is a pretty big spread. I like the Raiders to cover the spread at least. You've got the Saints traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Is it really traveling to New York, or is it traveling to the Meadowlands in New Jersey? That's just fucking weird. Like, it's one thing if you're called the San Francisco 49ers, you can play your home games in Santa Clara, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from San Fran. At least you can say you're in the same damn state. Can you even say that with New York teams? Are they even really technically New York teams? Just saying. Anyways, the Saints are 5.5-point favorites, and as bad as the Jets have been, the Saints have been total dog shit for a month plus. So I don't know quite why they're 5.5-point favorites. I'll pick the Saints to win here, sure, but I'll hedge my bets and I'll pick the Jets to cover the 5.5-point spread. Marquee matchup in the NFC least. You've got the Cowboys traveling to Washington to take on the Washington football team. Dallas 4.5-point favorites in this one. A few weeks ago, this matchup looked like it would have been just a chance for the Cowboys to maybe clinch the division. Would have been a coronation moment for this team. Although now you've gotten the Washington football teams won 4 straight. They're sitting at 6-6, and even though the Cowboys are 8-4, the Washington football team, I almost said the old name. They've got their last 5 games are all against divisional opponents. In some ways, you can make an argument that they potentially control their own destiny here, and they realistically do. If they win out, they win this division. Right? They play the Cowboys twice still, don't they? I mean, if that's the case, like, they're still sitting in a powerful position and situation. For the Cowboys, this is a really big spot. They really, I think, need this win. They need to go up 3 games on Washington with 4 to go, because that makes the division pretty out of reach for Washington at that point in time. I'll take the Cowboys to win. The 4.5-point spread concerns me just a little bit because I don't know that the Cowboys are quite that good. So I like Washington to cover the 4.5-point spread at home. I've got the Falcons traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Panthers fresh off of firing offensive coordinator Joe Brady. Yeah, right. He was the problem. How about the trading for the wrong fucking quarterback? How about passing on a young quarterback in the draft again? How about being a dumb dick like Matt Rule and building up the defensive side of the ball in an offense-first league, in a quarterback-driven league? Who the fuck does that? Apparently dumb dick Matt Rule does. Why isn't he the one that's fired? I know he had a 7-year contract and he's owed a shit ton of money, so of course he's not going anywhere. But yeah, let's blame the offensive coordinator because that was the problem. Fuck. Give me Atlanta plus the 2.5 to win. Nobody gives a shit about that game. Speaking of games, you probably don't give a shit about Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Travel to Houston to take on the Texans, who are in full tank mode at this point. They got to be a little bit worried. They're trying to get that number 1 pick, and they saw Detroit win a game, and they're saying, "Okay, we can't win anymore. Like we gotta hold on and hope Detroit wins a couple here. Damn it! I'll take the Seahawks minus the 8.5." Switching over to the late Sunday afternoon games. Got the Lions coming off their first win of the season over the Vikings, traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. I don't know how to read this game because on the one hand, obviously, there's going to be a lot of emotions involved in that stadium with the tragic passing earlier this week of former Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas. Just a powerful reminder of live your life to the most because it is not guaranteed from one day to the next. That's for damn sure. 33 years old, and he's gone. And he seemed like a good guy, too. So, of course, he's one of the ones that it's decided has to leave the planet because nothing makes any fucking sense in this world. It just doesn't. Because this world is very stupid. But I don't know. Either the Broncos are going to be incredibly pumped up, hyped up, and motivated to go out and win this game for him and his family and his legacy. They could also be distracted by this. And, you know, there's a part that not a lot of the guys, obviously, that are still on this team were there when Thomas was there. But, you know, that stuff does still carry on. I do like Denver to win this matchup. I like the Lions, again, to cover the 10-point spread. They've been good at covering the spread in recent weeks, and that's a pretty big spread even though it's on the road, especially for a Lions team coming off their first win of the year, who's a little bit better than what the record indicates. I like Detroit to at least cover the 10-point spread. You've got the Giants traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. God only knows what's going on with the Giants. Give me the Chargers minus the 10. I'll try not to overthink this one. In a sneaky important game, you've got the 49ers traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. What is this, an old Super Bowl 23 matchup? Yeah! I'm actually old enough to remember watching that Super Bowl. Yeah, Bill Walsh versus his old protege Sam White. Joe Montana versus Boomer Esiason. Oh, baby. Going way, way back in the day. San Francisco coming in at 1.5-point favorites here. I like Cincinnati plus the 1.5 at home. You've got the Bills traveling to Tampa Bay. Obviously, this is the marquee late Sunday afternoon matchup. You got Bills and Bucks. The Bucks are 3-point favorites, which I totally get and I totally understand. You know, it was a bad loss for the Bills on Monday night in the way that they had to play and came up short at home. And it makes no sense, but I'm going to pick the Bills plus the 3 here. I feel like there's a little more desperation, a little more urgency for them to have this game. So I think they'll come out and their play will reflect that. The Sunday night matchup. On the one hand, I want to apologize to the American people. On the other hand, you fucking deserve it because you're Americans. You're the most grotesque people in the fucking face of the earth. You deserve this. Bears football in prime time. Chicago versus Green Bay. Yippee! A chance to see Aaron Rodgers own their asses one more time. The only thing that worries me just a tad is the Packers are 12.5-point favorites here. Obviously, I'm picking the Packers to win. Like, you'd have to be fucking insane not to. But that 12.5-point number, that's really damn big. And the Bears played him really close in the first matchup of the year. I like the Bears with Justin Fields starting to cover that 12.5-point spread. And then Monday night, certainly a marquee game in the NFC West. You've got the Rams traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Cardinals, 2.5-point favorites here. You know, the Rams got their get-right game in against the Jags last week, but recently coming off of losing 3 in a row. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, sitting atop the NFC playoff picture, not just the NFC West, they're trying to get themselves in a position where they can secure home field advantage, and most importantly of all, that first-round bye for a team that certainly could use some rest. I like the Rams in this matchup, although I've always hesitated to pick Matthew Stafford against a team with a winning record, because we know traditionally, historically, that don't go well. In this situation, in this spot, maybe the Rams will be looking for some revenge after the Cardinals took them to the woodshed early in the season. So I like the Rams to win on Monday night, and we've seen some crazy shit happen in primetime this year, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. So those are my picks. You can check them out in the description box for week number 14. Feel free to put your picks in the comments section. Let's do this.